So median on number 5. Where do we look for the median? The median's my line in my box. The median test score here is 88. And then I'm going to do 6 on this one too. Same box plot. What percent of the class scored between 88 and 96? Now remember, each section of my box plot, it doesn't matter how big or how small it is, has the same number of points. So that means each section of my box plot has 25% of the data. Each section has 25% of the data. So if I'm looking, what percent of my data is between an 88 and a 96? We should choose 25%. The numbers, I'm not trying to subtract those. I had a few students who tried that. Don't subtract them. I need to know the percent in that section that they're giving me. And we'll do this one with it as well because it's all the same box plot. This one also very tricky for us. It said there are 28 students in Mrs. Capriotti's math class. How many students scored above a 96? 96 and above. A few different ways to solve this. When I went over this with my classes, every single conversation we talked about how to solve this went different because there's so many different ways to solve it. One way that you can solve it, again, we know each section has what percent? 25% of the data. So I would need to think, what is 25% of 28? So I could take 28 times 25%, which in decimal form is 0.25, and I multiply 0.007, move my decimal, and I would get 7 students scored between 96 and 102. Another one of my classes knew that each of the 4 sections were different. So they took all 28 of Miss Capriotti's students, divided it by 4 sections, because each section is going to have the same number of students. 28 divided by 4 gives you 7 that way. Again, same answer, different way to do it. Another one of my students knew that the whole class had to be 28. So that means that half of 28 would be that there are 14 students on each section. And then half of that section, half of 14, would be 7 students would score in that range. Different strategy, same answer. And then another student made a proportion. They wanted to know how many students out of Miss Capriotti's 28 scored in that range. So they did their cross multiplication. 28 is equal to 4x. Did their river of love, divided both sides by 4, and got x to equal 7 that way. Doesn't matter how you do it. We don't care which way you do it. We just care that you understand and you're able to solve that problem to figure out how many students solved that one.